Hi everybody, welcome back. Tony with Shinsho Yoga, and this week I would like to work on Utthita Parsvakonasana, or extended side angle pose. Side angle pose is a standing pose and again falls into this, what I like to refer to as intermediate to advanced postures. And again, an intermediate to an advanced posture is not meaning that you have to have done yoga for a certain period of time or have a certain level in yoga or anything like that. It means that, one, you want your body to be warm when getting into this posture. It's not something that we want to do at the beginning of a practice. You want it further on in the practice once our body's warmed and a certain amount of opening has been done. Because, two, this pose requires a certain amount of precision. Poses such as child's pose are not a precise pose, right? They're a resting pose. They're more of what we consider a beginner pose. And we can just come into them anytime and no one's making sure, is your head exactly here? Is your shoulder there? But Utthita Parsvakonasana, extended side angle, has a lot going on in it at once. So we need to be precise and have proper alignment in the posture. And we need to be warm to do it. So that's where we fall into that intermediate to advanced range. So anybody can do it. We have modifications that I'm going to show you today you can do it with, depending on your body. But again, we don't want to be launching into it at the beginning of a class. And we also want to make sure that when we do this, we don't laze our way or slop our way through it. We want to make sure we do it properly. So Parsvakonasana is similar to Trikonasana or triangle, in that we have to have a certain amount of openness in the legs and in the chest to access this, and there's also a revolution coming from the core. So in extended triangle, when we come forward and place our hand down and bring our arm to the sky, right, we're looking to revolve open from the chest. We do a similar thing in Utthita Parsvakonasana, but we're doing it in a different form. So both of these poses are similar, but they're going to access different areas of the body. So you may find one more challenging, or you may find one less challenging, or maybe both challenging or both easy. Really depends on your body and your practice and the given day. So one day it may be easy for you to do, and the next time you do it, you're struggling. Some of the places we're looking for openness to have in, one is going to be into the legs, especially the inside of the legs, because how we come into this posture is going to require a certain amount of openness in here to be able to sink into the pose properly. We're going to want a certain amount of openness into our chest and shoulders to be able to revolve this open. And as extended side angle, side body, there's a level of openness that we need in the side body in this to really come into the proper alignment. And as it is a standing posture, there is that long line of energy we're looking at in this. Generally, in our standing postures, we're looking at a long line of energy through the spine, sinking of the tailbone, lifting of the crown. There is a similar feel in this, but it's not that upright way. Since we're coming at an angle like this, it's really going to be felt going a downward pressure from the back of the foot and a lengthening from the arm, right? Although in that, we still want that length through the spine. So let's get into it, and enough talk. So how do we start for Utthita Parsvakonasana? You're going to come from a posture very similar to warrior. Warrior 2, that is. Generally, it's probably going to be a Warrior 2 posture. So, for Warrior 2, I'm going to do this on the left side to demonstrate. So I step my left foot out and my right foot back. You want that back foot parallel with the back edge of the mat, the front foot parallel with the long edges of the mat, and you want the heel and the instep in line. The width is dependent on your body, but it's going to be generally about past, halfway past the shoulder mark, right? So whatever here to here would be it. I'm going to be out around that, somewhere between what would be that length, right? Hard to explain that, say it exactly. From here, you're going to come into that Warrior 2 posture. So coming to that square on the front knee as best as you can. And again, the torque of the hip With our warrior two, the front hip goes back, the back hip goes forward. So in this case, my right hip is going to move forward and the back hip goes back. So we want that torque of the hip. You want this way, this way. You don't want to just be this way, sideways. You want that torque of the hip. And again, the lengthening of the arms. So, from our warrior two, and again, let those shoulders relax, keeping that square, driving that back foot back. You're going to bend and reach forward. You're bending from this hip crease, right? Reaching forward. When you can go no further, your first option, you can take the elbow down to the knee, the hand to the hip, revolve the chest open, and gaze up towards the sky. This is the most basic version of the posture. This is okay. If this is where your body is for the day, then this is where your body is for the day. Don't beat yourself up for it if you've done it better at other times. Just honor your body and follow it and breathe. Coming out, generally coming back to warrior two, depending on what your teacher asks you to do. Right? So, that's one. That's the most basic version. That is the modified version. Now, depending on the flexibility in your body, maybe you can come further. You can come down lower, but you can only go so low. That's where our block comes in. Height on the block can be here, can be here, can be here, whatever you need. Where the block goes is either going to be outside the front foot or inside the front foot. This depends on your teacher. I teach this outside the front foot, so I'm going to demonstrate it that way, right? So, the block is going to come outside the front foot. We come into the same way. Our arms are long, right? We reach forward. When we go no further, that hand comes down to the block. You can again take this arm to the sky to revolve open, to the hip to revolve open. If you want to come to the more of the precision part of this posture, you're going to take this arm and swing it up over the ear, keeping that arm long, locked in, and drive back with the heel and reach with the front. Plug this shoulder in, revolve the chest open, gaze up towards the sky. Breathe. Now avoid tracking the front knee past the ankle when you do this, right? Don't do this where you're coming in like this. Keep the knee and ankle in line. Coming out, same thing. Rising back up. Gotta shake that out a little bit there. Now, full varsity, as my teacher always would say. Same alignment as before. Heel and instep and line. Coming into that warrior two. Torquing of the hip. Arms are long. Bend from the hip, reach forward. When you go no further, that hand comes down outside the foot. Swing that top arm over the ear. Avoid tracking past that knee past the ankle. Revolve. Coming out, back up. It's a deep stretch, especially when you're just demonstrating. So, like I said, you don't want to do this cold, and here I am doing it cold, but welcome to the world of YouTube. So, Utthita Parsvakonasana, extended side angle. Similar to Trikonasana, right? We want that revolution open. We want openness throughout here, openness here. You can use a block if you want to come into a more precise, higher level of it. But the first one I showed you with elbow to the knee, hand to the hip is just fine. That's okay, right? What you don't want to do in that posture is this. Don't do this. And don't do this. And don't do this. And don't do this. Or don't do this. Right? If you can't do this, use the block. I'm tracking past the ankle. If you can't even do it with the block, do this. That is proper alignment for the body. Don't let the ego get in the way. Don't let the comparison of the person next to you or your teacher get in the way of your practice and what's right for your body. Now, that doesn't mean you make up your own posture. Sometimes I tell people do this and they're doing it and they're like, oh, well, but that's what's comfortable. I'm like, yeah, but you're not doing it. You have to do one of those to be doing Utthita Parsvakonasana, but any one of those is okay depending on where your body is for today, right? So, modify as needed, right? Revolving open. Don't flop into it. And one of the things you can do with that shoulder there is let that shoulder drop and you can get more openness. If you're doing like this, it's going to be a lot harder. Let that drop in and you can revolve open. So, the most important thing, breathe. Follow the breath. As the thoughts arise, acknowledge them, allow them to pass by. Return to the breath. Over and over. Any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Be happy to answer. Thanks for watching. Namaste.